everybody, from Olympic Stadium in Montreal. We bid you welcome to Reds baseball. This is the second game of this three-game series for the Cincinnati Reds and the Montreal Expos. Montreal coming up with 2 eighth-inning runs to take the opener yesterday afternoon. Final score 2-1, despite getting only 3 base hits off Tom Seaver. The Reds, however, remain in first place in the Western Division, but now only 1/2 game over a newcomer to the second spot in the division, the L.A. Dodgers. They came from behind to beat the Pirates 8-6 last night, and right now, Tommy Lasorda's club stands only a half game behind Cincinnati, while the Astros, losing their 4th in a row, shut out by the Philadelphia Phillies and Dick Ruthven 3-0, now in third place, remaining 1 game back. Mike Lacoste to the mound for the Reds. He'll be after his 4th win of the season, and a veteran left-hander, Bill Lee, will be pitching for the Montreal Expos. We'll be back to take a look at the starting lineups in just a moment. If you're ready now, the starting lineups today for the Cincinnati Reds, leading off and playing center field, will be Dave Collins. Batting second in right field, Ken Griffey. Hitting third at shortstop, Dave Concepcion. Batting fourth in left field, George Foster. Hitting number 5, the third baseman, Ray Knight. Batting sixth at first base, Dan Dreesen. Junior Kennedy will play second base in bat number 7. Hitting 8th and catching, Don Werner. And batting 9th and pitching for the Reds, right-hander Mike Lacoste. Once more for Cincinnati, it's Collins in center field, Griffey in right field, and Concepcion at shortstop. Foster in left, Knight at third base, Dreesen at first. While the bottom third will have Kennedy at second, Werner catching, and Lacoste pitching. For the homestanding Expos, they've got Ron LaFleur back in the lineup today. He'll be leading it off and playing left field. Batting number 2, at shortstop, Rodney Scott. Hitting third, the center fielder, Andre Dawson. Batting fourth, Ellis Valentine in right field. Larry Parrish will play third base and bat 5th. Hitting sixth, the catcher, Gary Carter. Warren Cromartie will play first base in bat number 7. Hitting 8th at second base, the youngster, Tony Bernazard. And batting 9th and pitching, left-hander Bill Lee. Once again for the Expos, it's LaFleur in left field, Scott at shortstop, Dawson in center field. Valentine in right field, Parrish at third base, Carter catching. With Cromartie at first, Bernazard at second, and Bill Lee on the mound. Here's Bill Lee. Here's Dave Collins to start the game, and the first pitch is down low for a ball, and this game is underway. Collins batting .340 with a home run and 7 runs batted in. Had a base hit yesterday to extend his hitting streak to 12. He swings, he bounces to short. There's Scott making the pickup on a big bounce, and he throws him out. Second pitch thrown by Bill Lee. Dave Collins, a ground out to shortstop. That'll bring up right fielder Ken Griffey.
Second right fielder, number 30, Griffey.
Griffey batting .295, 2 home runs, and 14 RBIs. Kenny's been in a bit of a slump after hitting in 10 straight games. Left-handed batter facing Bill Lee with 1 gone here in the first inning. Kenny no hits in his last 9 times up as Lee curves him inside for ball 1. Lee with a win, 3 losses, a 5.5 earned run average, making his 8th start of the season. Is yet to complete a game. Griffey swings and bounces it foul off to the right as the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, we talk about the division and the standings and whatnot. Reds are 20-13, LA is 19-13, and Houston is 18-13. So the top 3 clubs all have lost 13 times, and hey, that San Diego club is 17-16 and only 3 games back. 1-1 pitch. That's taken for a strike, a curve that started in on Kenny and broke out over the plate. Randy Jones last night, his 3rd shutout of the year, as he came up with a shutout effort against the Chicago Cubs, 3-0 that final, and San Diego continues to get close. Griffey with a half-swing foul on a pitch in on his fists. Defensively for Montreal, they've got Cromartie at first, Bernazard at second, Scott at shortstop, Parrish at third, Ron LaFleur in left field with Andre Dawson in center, Ellis Valentine in right, and Gary Carter catching. Outfield pretty much straight away for Griffey. Lee with a 1-2 to the plate, and it's up high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bill Lee winning 16 and losing 10 in his first year in the National League in 1979. He hits Griffey with a 2-2 pitch. That gets Kenny in the back. So he flips the bat aside and walks slowly on down to first base. The Reds have a man on with 1 out, and the hitter will be shortstop Dave Concepcion. Prior to last year, Bill Lee's entire career was spent in the Boston Red Sox organization. He came up to the big club in 1969, played with them through 78, and 3 straight years was a 17-game winner at Boston. 73, 74, and of course, the American League Championship season for that Red Sox club in 1975 when he was 17-9. Fell on hard times after that. His last year with the Red Sox in 78 was 10-10. Davey batting .213, 2 homers, 14 RBIs. The pitch to him is taken at the letters for a strike. Plate umpire Andy Olson, Nick Colosi, Jerry Crawford, Doug Harvey at first, second, and third. Now, Bill Lee, when he's right, throwing a lot of ground balls, and this one dips in for strike 2 call. He is effective only when he's able to keep that ball down. In fact, that's the big asset for the two guys facing each other here. Lee for the Expos and Lacasse for the Reds. Checking Griffey, pitching to Concepcion, and foul back, holding at 2 strikes. Interesting note, the Reds have been beaten this season only one time. A starter, that is, a left-hander, Bob Nepper of the Giants. 3 others have lost, and 4 have gotten away with no decision. So the Reds have had good success against lefties. Lee throws to first. Top half of the first inning, no score. Collins grounded to shortstop. Griffey was hit by a pitch. And another throw to first base has Kenny getting back in quickly. Oh-2 delivery, swing and a foul. On deck, George Foster. Well, Montreal would like to get to 500 today. They are 14-15, but here in the month of May, they played good baseball, having won 8 of 13, 4 consecutive wins in 6 of their last 8. Last 6 games, they've won 5 and lost 1, outscoring the opposition 15-8, believe it or not. In 6 games, a grand total of 15 runs, and they've won 5 of them. That, again, gives you some idea of the kind of pitching that Dick Williams has had of late. Up high with the ball. 1-2 the count on Dave Concepcion. Davey leveling the bat as Lee studies a sign from Gary Carter. The look to first and the throw to first base. Well, they have a note on the Expo note sheet. Bill Lee is 1-0 since the removal of his facial foliage. He had some kind of beard up until a short time ago. A little bit different, Bill Lee. Another throw to first. They talk about left-handers being different.
Not all.
Well, he would qualify as
one of them.
Working very slowly. He delivers to the plate. Carter calling for a pitch out, but nothing happening with Griffey. So Lee throwing a couple of times to first, and then comes to the plate on a pitch out. So they waste a pitch, and they're even on Concepcion at 2-2. Stretching the pitch. Davey strikes out swinging. No, he doesn't. He fouls it back. Bill Lee, Dave Concepcion battling here in the first. He works him inside and low, and it counts full. So Davey hanging tough with Lee, who owned the count advantage of 2 strikes a couple of minutes ago, and now has gone 3-2 on the Red shortstop. See what Griffey's going to be doing. He's running. Davey swings, hits it back to the mound. Lee goes to Scott. Scott goes to first. Double play. Despite the runner moving, Davey hit a hard ground ball that Bill Lee spears, and they go 1-6-3. Lee, Scott, Cromartie, no runs, no hits, and nobody left on. After a half inning of baseball, Reds nothing, Montreal coming to bat. Reds leading the Expos 3-1 as we play here in the top of the 5th. Griffey single with 1 out. Davey is now fly to Dawson, and Foster waiting on Bill Lee's first pitch, and here it is. Taken on the outside edge for a strike. Reds now with 7 hits in the game. Montreal has had but 3. Kenny leading at first, now running. The pitch swung on, grounded to shortstop. There's Rodney Scott with a throw on to Cromartie, and he digs it out of the dirt to get Foster and end the inning. For the Reds, no runs, 1 hit, 1 left on. Through 4.5 innings of baseball, the Reds 3 and the Expos 1. I'm going to step back in. Ray Knight led off with a walk. Danny Dreesen was hit by a pitch. Infield back at double play depth as Lee toes the rubber, looks in for the sign. Stretches and pitches. Kennedy swings and pops it up off first. No play. 0-2. Okay, Lee with a stretch and a pitch. Kennedy strikes out swinging. Bill Lee gets his third. One down for Don Warner. Follow the Reds on the Reds Radio Network. Here are 3 loyal network stations: WPFB in Middletown, Ohio, WKDJ in Winchester, Kentucky, and WOMP in Wheeling, West Virginia, and Bel Air, Ohio. One gone. Warner, like Ray Knight, perfect today. 2 singles, a run batted in. Lee brings it up there. Donnie swings, line drive, base hit left field. Here comes Ray Knight. They bring him to the plate. Here comes the throw from Ron LaFleur offline, and both runners advance on the bases. Dreesen to third, Warner to second. Donnie's 3 for 3, and the Reds lead 4-1. Well, I tell you, for a young man who has been struggling so hard at the plate, and really his problems become magnified when he has opportunities, especially as he did yesterday, and can't produce, and then all of a sudden turns it around today. It's got to be a big lift for Donnie and certainly for the ball club. Dick Williams. He is just now reaching the first base foul line. That means that we will say bye-bye to Bill Lee. Right-hander Stan Bonson will be coming on, which means we have a break in the action, and we'll return in just a moment. Cost with 3 hits this season. Ball to him. 2 in the second, 1 in the fourth, 1 so far in the sixth. Reds have out hit him 8-4. 1-0 to the plate. Over for a call strike. Danny Dreesen off at third. Donnie Warner off at second. Bonson straightens up and pitches. Swing and a miss. Mike going up after 1 up. And falling behind 1-2. We'll be back at it tomorrow as Frank Pastore shoots for his 5th victory of the season against the right-hander Dave Palmer. 1:35 game time, and then we'll be flying on tomorrow night to Philadelphia, where we'll get things underway with the Phillies Monday night. High for a ball. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cromartie, Bernazard, Scott, and Parrish all up in the infield. Outfield playing LaCosta hit the other way. The pitch from Bonson swung on, ground ball shortstop, kicked around, recovered by Scott, flipping on to Cromartie. Nobody moves, 2 out. We'll pause now for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network. With 2 outs now, Dave Collins will turn it around for the first time in the game to face a right-hander Bonson against Bill Lee. Was 0 for 3. 3 ground outs, 2 to short, 1 to first. Base hit now, and the Reds could really open up a lead. Bonson from the windup. Collins takes. Strike 1. Donnie Warner and Ray Knight have been the batting stars for the Reds today. Knight was 3 runs scored, 2 for 2. Warner 3 for 3 and 2 RBIs. High bouncer toward short. Scott charges, gets rid of it quickly in time to end the inning. So Bonson gets it done. But the Reds get a run on 1 hit, lead 2. We played 5.5. Cincinnati 4, Montreal 1.
Watson to the plate. Foster takes it low and outside. Breaking ball. 1-0. $22,702 here this afternoon. 1-0 pitch. Curve outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Andy Olson inspects the baseball and throws it out of play and gives Bonson another. 2 out, bases empty. 2 balls, no strikes. The count to George Foster. Bonson delivers. Foster swings and fouls out of play, and that one almost hit the lights above the stadium. I mean, very close. 2-1. Now Foster will go back to the dugout, and apparently George going to get another bat. If he led off the inning with a fly ball to LaFleur in left field, Dave Concepcion grounded to Warren Cromartie. Now the count 2-1 to Foster. George back to the plate. Bonson getting the sign from Gary Carter. Delivers the 2-1. That's strike 2 call. A fastball on the outside edge, and the count evens 2-2. Outfield playing Foster straight away. Dawson in center. 2-2 delivery. Missing low and outside with the fastball. Full count to George Foster. Bonson ready with a payoff. George swings and pops this one foul off to the right, giving chase Cromartie, but that'll settle back into the seats. Count holding, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Foster. Bonson waiting on the sign, and again the 3-2. That swung on, and a high hopper to Scott deep and short. Long throw to Cromartie. That's in. The Reds out in order here in the 7th. Nothing across, and it's the middle of the 7th. Cincinnati 4, Montreal 1.
2 men on, 2 men out. Norman pours home the pitch, and Cruz with a half swing, slow bouncer off the glove of Norman, picked up by Parrish. No play anywhere. Slow roller to the third base side of the mound that Freddie Norman had hit off the end of his glove. Parrish picked it up but had no play. That's going to be a error charged against Fred Norman to load the bases and bring to the plate Dave Collins. Now it's Dick Williams out of the dugout. And he will make another pitching change, bringing on the right-hander Sosa. Well, Sosa ready to go as Collins steps in, trying to get the Reds closer. 3 men on, 2 men out. Sosa called on to replace Fred Norman as he checks the runners and delivers to Collins. Swung on and drilled to left center field. That's a base hit. 2 runs will score. Cruz comes on to third base as Collins' first pitch hitting drives a 2-run single into the alley in left center, and the Reds are down by only 1 at 7-6. So Dave Collins does pick a very, very propitious time to extend his hitting streak. Now with 13 games in a row he's hit in, and The Reds trail by a run as Ken Griffey moves in. Griffey is 1 for 3, a single. He's been hit by a pitch. Collins now with 9 RBIs on the season. Time call. The ball getting out of the Cincinnati bullpen. Coach Harry Dunlop running out to the left field fence to pick it up. Well, the Reds will have a new pitcher on in the bottom of the 8th. That'll be, in all likelihood, Doug Baer. But a hit by Griffey here would even the count. Runners at first and third. Sosa kicks and throws. Griffey takes strike 1. One to the plate. Collins going. Pitch is taken. There's a throw down to second, and they got him. Dave Collins thrown out. Taking the bat right out of Ken Griffey's hands. With a tying run at third, Gary Carter goes to Chris Spire to easily nail Dave Collins. In the inning, the Reds get 2 runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left. After 7.5, Montreal 7, Cincinnati 6. Elias Sosa, who served up the 2-run single in the 8th to Dave Collins, will now be working to Griffey, Concepcion, Foster, and hopefully more. Unless the Reds can come back, they will lose their 3rd straight game. Griffey 1 for 3, single in the 5th inning. Was on in the 1st after being hit by a pitch from Bill Lee. Well, the 2 starting pitchers, no decision starts for them. Still, Bonson would win it, and Hume would lose it. Oh, instead of needing 1 to get even, the Reds now need 3 to tie. Here's a pitch to Griffey. And he grounds 1 to first baseman Cromartie. To the bag, 1 out. 1 pitch, 1 down. Dave Concepcion 0 for 4. He was robbed in the 3rd on a good catch of his sinking line drive by Ellis Valentine. Davey swings and he misses. Too low for a ball, 1-1. Sosa, a quick worker, and gets that one in at the belt for strike 2 call. One ball, 2 strikes. Concepcion waiting, swings and fouls. Montreal awfully tough at its own ballpark, and proving that in the first 2 games of this series, with a final game coming up here tomorrow afternoon. That's high for a ball, 2-2. And Paul Mosco now throwing. Paul's scheduled to start the game Tuesday night in Philadelphia. Davey checks his swing. It's up high and it counts 3-2. Payoff pitch to Concepcion, swung on and fouled away. Climbing back and out of play off the first base side. Expos have had 10 hits. The Reds have had 9. Cincinnati has committed 2 errors and Montreal 1. Swung on and grounded up the middle. That'll go into center field for a base hit. So Dave Concepcion, with one out of the ninth, comes up with a ground single up the middle off Sosa. That brings up George Foster, who's single in the second, but since then has struck out, bounced to short, and bounced to short again. Foster's bat has been very quiet since his comeback after that strained left side. Had a two-run single in his first game back earlier this week against the New York Mets. He grounds one towards second. They go to second for one. The ball is dropped, and only getting the out at second base on Dave Concepcion. Tony Bernazard came up throwing to Chris Spire, who had the ball and then lost it. So the Reds avoid a double play on the drop ball at second by Spire, but with two out and Foster at first, here's Ray Knight. Knight is 2 for 3. He swings and fouls. Looks like Woody Fryman will now start to throw for Montreal. Pitch. Another foul. This one off the end of the bat. Knight very quickly in an 0-2 hole. Well, it comes down to one strike, one out. That's what stands between Montreal and a fifth consecutive victory as this club starts to build up a head of steam. Foster checked by Sosa. The long pause in the pitch. Knight swings and pops it up out of play. First base side. Knight settling back in. Here's a pitch. Swung on and looped down the right field line. Valentine running hard is foul. Ball falling beyond the bullpen mound, deep down the right field foul line. The Ray Knight hanging tough with Elias Sosa on a holding two-strike count. On deck, first baseman Danny Dreesen. And should Knight get on here against Sosa with two out to keep the inning going, with Dreesen coming up, certainly would not be surprised to see Dick Williams go down and bring on Woody Fryman. Carter hangs aside. Sosa brings in the pitch to the plate. And Knight grounds one to the second baseman, Bernazard, throwing him out at first base, and that's the game. In the ninth for Cincinnati, no runs, one hit, no errors, and one left. The Reds have now dropped 3 in a row as Montreal comes back with 6 runs in the 7th inning and goes on to score a 9-6 win. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, things started out very well for the Reds of John McNamara today and finished rather badly. Cincinnati, with Mike LaCasse on the mound, saw the Expos score in the first inning on a leadoff walk by Ron LaFleur, a ground out by Rodney Scott. Andre Dawson had a hit to move LaFleur to third from where he scored on a ground out by Ellis Valentine. But the Reds came right back in the second. They got 4 hits off of Bill Lee and scored 2 times, singles by Foster and Knight, a run-producing single by Danny Dreesen, and a later base hit by Don Warner to make it a 2-1 ball game. Cincinnati scored one more time in the 4th inning on a double by Knight and a later sacrifice fly by Kennedy, and opened the gap to a lead of 3 with a 4-1 lead in the 6th inning. When Knight got a walk, Dreesen was hit by a pitch, and after Kennedy struck out, Don Warner delivered his 3rd straight hit. This one a single to left field to score Foster and give the Reds a 4-1 advantage. Through 6 innings, Mike LaCasse was extremely effective. He had allowed the Expos only that 1 run on a total of 5 base hits, but They got to him in the 7th inning. Tony Bernazard opened it up innocently enough with a fly out to left, but then Tommy Hutton, pinch hitting, drew a base on balls. Ron LaFleur had a single to center field, and Rodney Scott drew a walk to load him up. At that point, manager John McNamara brought Tom Hume on. Tommy got Andre Dawson to do what he wanted him to do, and that's to hit a hard ground ball to Ray Knight at third. It looked like a sure double play, but as Knight came up with the ball and started toward the bag for the force out, it got away, rolled into foul territory, where Hutton and White, or LaFleur, both scored, and the Expos were trailing by only 1 run. Things really went wild then. Ballantyne doubled 2 runs across. Larry Parrish drew an intentional walk. Our star of the game, Gary Carter, had a single to knock in a run. Warren Cromartie, a single off new pitcher Dave Tomlin before the next 2 guys were retired. But Montreal, when the dust had settled, had scored 6 times and had taken a 7-4 lead. Back came the Reds in the 8th inning against Freddie Norman, facing his former club for the first time. A 1-out walk to Dreesen, a 2-out walk to Donnie Warner, and then Hector Cruz hit a slow roller to the third base side of the mound that Norman erred to load him up. Then it was Elias Sosa on with 1 out and the bases loaded. Dave Collins driving a single to right center to left center field to get 2 runs across and draw the Reds to within a run at 7-6. But then, why, nobody knows, with a runner at third, the tying run Cruz, Collins at first to go ahead, Ken Griffey at the plate with 2 out. Collins tried to steal, and Gary Carter easily threw him out at second base to kill off any further run production for Cincinnati in that inning. In the 8th inning, Montreal got to Doug Baer with 2 out. A walk to Chris Spire, a wild pitch. Ellis Valentine was hit by a pitch. Parrish got a walk, and Carter delivered again, this time a 2-run single to center for runs number 8 and 9, and that rounded out the scoring in the game. Montreal had 9 runs, 10 hits, 1 error, 10 left. The Reds had 6 runs, 10 hits, committed 2 errors, and stranded 8. Stan Bonson, the winning pitcher, he's now 3-1. Sosa gets his 3rd save, and the loser was Tommy Hume. His record goes to 3-3. Final game of this series tomorrow at 1:35. Frank Pastore, 4-1, will oppose Dave Palmer, a right-hander, and he's 2-0. We'll be on the air with the pregame shows tomorrow, beginning at 1:05 Cincinnati time on most of these same stations. Again, the final score today in a game that took 2 hours and 55 minutes to play before a crowd of 22,702. The Expos 9 and the Reds 6.